What do you love about Montbello?
Let me talk on that side. Don't you know what I'm talking about? That's like a Mexican store. They have a bunch of like aguas frescas and like all the popsicles, snacks and stuff. So I'm a real foodie, so I love that. But I think again, the community is just really fun. Like I said, I grew up in Southwest Denver, so it's really different because it's primarily Spanish speakers and a lot of Mexican immigrants.
Okay.
But out here, it's a little bit more diverse because you get to see like the Black community represented, a lot of like different languages from different immigrants, and just a lot of representation, which is really cool.
Welcome back to the Voice of Montbello Podcast. It's your girl, Lenny. And today I'm here with
Kiara.
Yeah, you already know who it is. It's your boy, Tata. What's good?
Okay.
Where are you from, Kiara?
So I was born in Mexico. I'm from Colima. But when I was 4 years old, I migrated to Denver. So I grew up in Southwest Denver, primarily Valverde neighborhood.
Was there like any culture shock for you when you came to Denver?
So I think that's like tough to remember because I was 4 years old. I mostly remember having to learn English as being like the biggest culture shock. But otherwise, because I was so young, it wasn't such a culture shock because I was like little in school, like trying to just meet people. And so I would say like probably yes, but like, do you remember being 4 years old? You know, it's like, it's tough. Like, I don't remember much. And so I would say ish.
How did you adjust to being here?
So the biggest thing that probably helped out again is school. I think being like new is always the thing that makes you nervous. But then something for me is I really like community and I really like family and friends and talking to people. And so through school, I was really able to adapt because once I made friends, I felt comfortable, you know, and I'm like, oh, okay, like these people are just like Mexicans, you know, we're all talking, we're all vibing. And so that really got me out of my shell and got me really comfortable again. And again, learning English and just getting my feet on the ground was like, all right, I'm here. Like, I know what I'm doing.
All right, so how do you feel to be in Montbello?
In Montbello, I love Montbello. And to me, it's like all this area, Montbello, Green Valley Ranch, you know, like DIA, Denver is really dope. I actually lived out here for a year with my sister because she lives here like really close. So it's another home to me. It's a really dope neighborhood just because my family comes out here all the time to have parties at my sister's house. And my sister just recently had a baby. So like I look forward to coming out here because I'm like, I want to say hi to little baby niece. And just in general, the community is really fun. And Montbello Alive is always a good time. Like they got the music, they got all the vendors, they got the trim.
What do you love about Montbello?
Let me talk on that side. Don't you know what I'm talking about? That's like a Mexican store. They have a bunch of like aguas frescas and like all the popsicles, snacks and stuff. So I'm a real foodie, so I love that. But I think again, the community is just really fun. Like I said, I grew up in Southwest Denver, so it's really different because it's primarily Spanish speakers and a lot of Mexican immigrants.
Okay.
But out here, it's a little bit more diverse because you get to see like the Black community represented, a lot of like different languages from different immigrants, and just a lot of representation, which is really cool.
What do you do here in Montbello?
So today I'm tabling for Denver Parks and Recreation. We're on a park near a rec center. And so, you know, we had to come out here to support. But my job is primarily doing marketing and community engagement work with Parks and Recreation. And basically what that means is I help to promote a lot of our projects and different planning things that we have going on. And so currently we're having a survey and a lot of open houses throughout September and October for Parks Legacy Fund. So in 2018, there was a voter-approved sales tax that passed, and a small percentage of that goes towards our parks. And so every time you're out shopping, some part of that percentage goes towards Parks and Recreation. And so the last 5 years, we've been able to do really dope projects because of it. And so trying to think of an example, I think we've like been able to renovate some parks and improve just like some trails and different projects that we've had. And so right now that 5 year plan just kind of in quotation marks ended, but we're trying to update it for the next 5 years. And so that survey and those open houses that we have going on is getting the community involved to let us know what you all want to see in parks, and so that we can continue to do those projects with the community, you know? And so something really big that I've learned about Parks and Rec is that they're very community centered. And so they want to do a project without hearing what people want. So that project is really cool because if y'all want to see like skate parks, for example, or more art in the parks, then we would listen to that and we would prioritize it for the next 5 years. And you would see that in the projects that we fund and that we do.
Okay, so how do you feel to be here?
This podcast, I feel really like grateful. Actually, I'm glad that y'all came and asked me because I'm really big on working with youth. At my previous job, I worked with Denver Public Schools and mostly with the parents, but I really enjoyed working with kids because I just think y'all are so smart and y'all have like really fresh, creative ideas. And so it's always cool to see like youth leading projects and asking questions because I just think it's always fun. You know, it's like, cool, give me a break. Give me a break from all these adults.
What got you interested in your job?
So it was actually really tough. I've always been really creative and I love art. And then when I was in high school, I was still like, I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then I was working at Wingstop. Do y'all know Wingstop? Like, I love Wingstop. And I was working at Wingstop and we had a day where we changed all of our menus and our uniforms and everything. And I was like, whoa, this is really dope. Like, who does this? Who's in charge of this? So I started researching, looking it up. And I landed in marketing. And they was like, oh, yeah, if you work in marketing, you get to do like graphic design, communications. You can like design menus and stuff like that. And I was just like, whoa, that sounds cool. Like, I want to be creative and get paid for it. And the salary looked pretty good. So I was like, okay, this is like a way to not be like a starving artist. You know, it's like I get to be creative. And I think I can like go towards a path that also like my goal is to like financial freedom, like, you know, make money for my family, for my community, represent.
How, like when you say when like people want a certain way of how their park is gonna look like, how do people like come to you and tell you that?
Oh, that's a good question. So that's a really good question. I think that's like a big thing of like working in marketing and community engagement. That's like the biggest thing we try to like focus on is like, how do we reach everybody, you know, because there's older people who don't know how to use technology and there's younger people who don't want to show up in person. And so we always have to find out like different ways to fit everybody into this plan because at the end of the day, again, like we want to listen to the community, but we don't just want to hear one person. So that would be like, we wouldn't be reaching our goal if we only talked to like one segment out of all of Denver, because then we would just be hearing one person's opinion. And so that's why right now we have a survey and we have those virtual meetings and in-person meetings to try to get everybody. But we're also doing these little pop-up events in the community because we want to be able to get those people that like never do that, you know, like some people don't care about that, but like they care about community. And so we're trying to show up here to be like, oh, hey, maybe you haven't heard this. And like, let us introduce you to this. And what do you all think about your school right now? I'm really curious. Like, do y'all feel like your school is doing a good job with your education, or what would you do to improve it?
I like my school because like they get you like ready for like college and all that. And like when there's drama, and like you hear about it, but you don't see it. Yeah, that's what I like. Cause like, to be honest, when I see drama, I'll be nosy and I'll be nosy and be like, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? And like record it. But then I stopped recording because like I would get in trouble for that. Yeah. I was like, what did I do? I only recorded it. I'm witness. I'm right to her. Like,
you're kind of like encouraging them, right?
And that's a good thing too, because like Because my school is like quiet than most schools. Like you just everybody mind their own business and like go about their day unless somebody say something to them. Yeah. And like to be honest, me, I don't know nobody over there because it's like my first year. So I don't be talking to nobody but like my friends from middle school and the teachers were like, I need help with my assignments.
Oh, nice. So you feel supported in that way. So, and you talked about college. So another question I'm curious about, because I'm still working with another organization for like DPS. And it's Ednium Alumni Collective. So we're all like DPS alumni, and we're trying to make Denver public schools better because we feel like in some way, shape, or form, they didn't do enough to prepare us for the real world. And so you talked about college. Right now, we're really working on this like project that helps to implement certificates of value or trade school, if y'all have heard of that. And I'm curious, like, what's your opinion of that?
To be honest, it's kind of good because like I heard that like there wasn't that much opportunities back then. So I like that we as the youth have more opportunities now because like so we could like take that advantage and like really do it because our family like say because I'm doing this and I'm the first person in my family to do this. So yeah, like I'm glad to be doing this and you know what I like. So I might be interested in that. Speaking of that, when you were a kid, what were your goals and what are your goals now? And like what's changed about them?
Oh, look at she got the question. Okay, let's see. When I was a kid, what were my goals? Our goals were always really rooted in like wanting to have a family and feeling secure. And I think the biggest thing is because I'm an immigrant, I always wanted to like, my parents really prioritized education. So I always wanted to go to college and I always wanted to get a good job. Like that's all I knew was like, I want to go to college and I want to get a good job. And I want to pay it back to my parents because I think that what they did was a huge sacrifice. And so I always felt the weight of that. And I was like, I want to just return and show them that what they did moving to this country was worth it, you know? I think like once I got to college, a lot of things in my world shifted because again, like I was faced with the real world and I grew up undocumented. So like in college, I was a little bit more anxious about my future because I was like, what am I going to do? Because being undocumented, I didn't have like that security of being able to work legally. And so that was a big fear of mine. And eventually I got a work permit and now I'm a resident. So like I've been able to maneuver that. But that was a big fear. And that shifted a lot of my goals into like really, really nailing down on like, okay, now I'm here in college. Now I got to get focused and I got to keep setting myself up for like better and improving. And so I told you one of my goals is still very much centered in financial freedom because of that, because I want to have the control to be able to like support my family whenever they need it. And I think money is a really like big way to get there in this society. And then another thing is just continuing to better myself spiritually, emotionally, and physically, because I've realized like I'm somebody that wants to see like big changes in the world. But during that time when I was really scared and anxious, it was like, I can't do this if I'm not at my best. So I'm always prioritizing being at my best. And so money and me.
What does it mean to be undocumented?
To be undocumented in the United States is basically that you weren't born here. So like anybody born in the US is a US citizen. And so it comes with its own rights. Like you can travel outside of the country, you can vote, you can do these things given, you know, like that you don't commit a felony or like certain things, but you have that citizenship of being born in the US. Being undocumented is like that you came here in one way, shape, or form that was not allowed. And so a lot of like you hear like the term of being illegal, which I don't personally like, but it's like essentially trying to make it seem like you didn't have permission to be here. So then it's like you can't be here. And it comes with like a lot of different hurdles and difficulties. But I'd say like some ways that has manifested in my life is like emotionally, it can be really hard to not be able to travel outside of the country because you don't get to like go back home and see your family. Being here without documents, you can't work legally. And so you can't have a job where they require you to have a social security number. That's a big thing. And then also like when it comes to running into the police can be really scary because like at the end of the path, if you break some law, it can lead to deportation, which means you get like forcibly removed out of the country back to the country that you were born in, whether you know it or not. So those are like some of the things of, to me, what it means to be undocumented. I'm really happy to meet you both and get to know a little bit more about you. But like, you guys are an example of like Montbello. You know, it's a lot of different people and you guys are pretty new to the community too. But I'm sure you guys also feel pretty like a part of the community because a lot of us are like that. We're like new here and figuring it out, but also coming together and all in our different ways.
Thank you for taking this time to do this podcast with us.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Tonto.